Hey, what's going on, everybody? Happy Thursday to you. I'm not doing this live because I wanted to make sure I got it right, which sometimes I don't do when I do Facebook Live, but I hope you'll watch it anyway. I wanted to kind of fill you guys in on what's going on with my friend Andres Ocampo, who was denied entry into the United States a couple days ago at JFK Airport, despite the fact that he has family here, his visa is in order, he's traveled here twice before, and had made the trip in, and then was denied entry. So the information I've gotten so far is from Andres after he returned home. He called me the next day, and when Andres and I communicate, it's a little bit of an English Spanish thing. We both speak Spanglish. His English is not 100%. My Spanish certainly is not 100%. But here's what I was able to determine. So Andres got to, immigration, Department of Homeland Security to get into the United States. He was pulled for questioning. And during the questioning, he said that it seemed like they were looking for a reason, just any small reason to turn him back. So they were relentlessly peppering him with questions: why he was here, what he was doing here, was he working here illegally, things like that. And, Andres, I've seen a transcript of it, which I'm also going to share online at some point. I'm not going to do it right now, but answered completely honestly. And in the end, it appears that may have been his undoing, because at the end of the day, if they want to find something, they can find something. And that's what it seemed like they were doing. And my question to DHS is why? This is not a safety issue at all. Andres presents no safety risk at all. And he's already come and gone back twice before. He doesn't want to live here. He has family, he has kids in Colombia. He has a business in Colombia. And he has a track record of always returning. He doesn't overstay his visa. This guy was doing it right, and you sent him back. And that's what I don't understand. So anyway, I reached out to DHS today, and I got a familiar name, Anthony Bucci. He's the public affairs officer. I've dealt with Anthony before. He's a nice guy. Dealt with him before whenever we had come in, I think, from Iceland a couple years ago, and just getting through immigration was just a zoo, a disorganized, incompetent mess at JFK. So Anthony was my correspondent there. I don't know if he'll remember me, but that was in 2017. But here's an email I'm sending to Anthony. I'm going to read it to you because I know it's probably more fun to hear me read it. Dear Anthony, if you read down the email chain, you will see we've corresponded before in 2017. Unfortunately, I now have a more critical reason for emailing regarding an excellent and trusted musician friend of mine, Andres Ocampo, from Medellin, Colombia, who works on our TV show, Raw Travel, and is signed to my record label, Punk Outlaw Records. Andres has family here, a mother and a brother in New York City, and has visited twice before. And despite his papers being in order, he was denied entry via JFK on June 4th, 2019. This resulted in him being escorted through the airport like a criminal, forced to return home to Colombia in what resulted in a 30-hour round trip that should have taken no more than 6 hours one way. According to Andres, he was questioned mercilessly as if the agents were trying to desperately find a reason to deny him entry. He was pressured to sign the attached document, or as he states, a confession, to avoid charges of fraud. All of this has me very confused, as Andres has done nothing but abide by U.S. law to the best of his ability. Andres is one of the kindest, gentlest, most law-abiding people I've ever known. Andres' mother is currently physically sick, and now she's also heartbroken at this development, as am I. Andres spent a significant portion of his savings, hard-earned partly through royalties, earned through working with our show, Raw Travel TV, to visit family and to work on some new projects over the summer. Andres is going to be featured in an episode of Raw Travel coming up this fall entitled Going Solo, Return to Medellin, an episode that we've shot but has not yet been edited. I'd like to incorporate his difficulties at DHS into the episode. Also, we're sharing this experience with our 50,000 or so social media followers on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TripAdvisor, and YouTube. To do this, I'd like a better understanding of what happened and why, and I'm hoping you can help. You may not remember our discussions from before, but I have a great respect for law enforcement and the job DHS does in doing to keep U.S. citizens safe. However, I take exception to the rude treatment I've observed far too often that is given to seemingly law-abiding visitors to this country, my home country, when I'm allowed such hospitality and welcoming spirit at the over 70 plus countries I've had the honor of visiting. I believe it is possible to do both the job effectively while exuding a sense of dignity and respect to what is essentially DHS's clients and reason for having a role in the first place, our visitors. We are independent television. My audience is not a primetime network show, but it has about 1 million or so USA viewers weekly and even more worldwide. I recognize this isn't 60 Minutes here, and I'm not Edward R. Murrow, but I want always to be fair and do pride myself in presenting facts as objectively as I possibly can. I called earlier, and I know from your voicemail that you're out in the field and unable to respond immediately to my inquiry, but I do look forward to hearing from you soon so I can better present the DHS side of what exactly happened here. Thank you, Anthony. And I'm attaching the documentation that Andres has supplied me. Couple of things to wrap it up here. You might ask, why am I doing this? I'm doing this because Andres is a good friend of mine. I'm doing this because this is an injustice that occurs every day throughout this country. I'm doing this because I've witnessed, as I said in the letter, rude treatment of visitors many times before through my own experience when I used to get detained before I got global entry. I got detained because someone matched my description. The DHS agents that I dealt with felt like they were above the law. They owed me no explanation, and they were rude, period. End of story. Abuse of authority comes to mind. Now, I know a lot of you guys out there probably have way worse stories than what I have. So that doesn't keep me from doing this. I'm doing this not because of my own experience, but because I know that it's even worse for other people. And then the other reason is Raw Travel's a family. Andres is a key component of that family. He's a musician who created what eventually became the theme song to Raw Travel. He's a very good friend of mine. And once you're with Raw Travel, you're my responsibility. Even though I didn't know he was coming in that particular day, I knew Andres was coming in. We had a lot of plans to work on some really cool stuff this summer. All that was scuttled. But most importantly, the human element. His mother is sick, wants to see her son, was expecting to see her son. Andres spent money that is extremely hard earned, way more hard earned than what we do in the U.S., and to make this happen. He abided by the law and did everything that he could in his power to make sure that he had everything in order. And, you know, the reality is bureaucracies in this country, whether they be with a corporate bureaucracy or a government bureaucracy, feels a lot like gotcha. It's like, you know, I can figure out a way to make you pay, either financially or returning to your country if I want to, because I can make the process so bureaucratic and impossible that only a select few people will actually navigate the hoops that I've put in front of you to jump through. And so we know this. We go through this every day, whether it be our cable company or our government. We know that this exists. What do we do about it? Most of the time, we rant and rave on social media and then nothing gets done. I don't want to do that. I mean, I know this sounds like I'm ranting and raving, but I'm not. I'm actually trying to figure out what happened here. How can we help it? Can we change the situation? If we can't, can we at least engage awareness of it? I have no idea if anything's going to become of this. I doubt it, but I got to try. It's the best I can do. So anyway, this is turning into a 9-minute video. If you sat through it all, I hope it was worth your time. I appreciate you watching. I appreciate the words of support. One last request, please, if I could. It's super easy, I know, and I get it, and it's not wrong to make this a political discussion. It is kind of a political thing, I think, with our current political environment. However, it's so divisive, and it's such a divisive topic politically. I always want Raw Travel to be kind of like above that, beyond that. I'm a citizen of the world. I don't know about you. So let's try to avoid, you know, scapegoating or talking about certain individuals, and I think you know what I'm talking about, who are, excuse me, at fault here. And let's talk about the system and how we might be able to change it. I've had a lot of people share their stories with me. I appreciate that. That always is welcome. please feel free to do that. And what I will do in response is do everything I can to keep you guys informed on what's going on here. If you don't care about this stuff, just don't watch. It's okay. This is not part of our travel normal content, I understand. This will, however, as I said in the letter, be in an episode called Return to Medellin, coming up in the fall. Hopefully this will be part of the storyline in some way. I don't know how much. There's a lot of good storylines there, and this is a sad part of it, but there's a lot of positive stuff there that you'll learn about this fall that Andres has done down in Medellin. Thank you guys. Thank you again for your support. Thank you for keeping everything respectful, and let's all respect each other and love each other, right?